Hello, my friends. Welcome back to House Rules. I'm your host, Rachel LaForce.
I'm your other host, Alex Getlin.
I'm so excited to be on the mic right now. I feel like I've been so low energy the past couple of weeks, and I feel like I have so many bits I want to get out. And then I've been sitting through all of our pre-prod production shoots for your new show.
Yes, highly unlikely. We've talked about it before in the past, but...
Yes, Highly Unlikely is coming out in partnership with WikiLeaf, not to be confused with WikiLeaks. That would be a totally different show entirely.
Nothing to do with WikiLeaks.
Although, we could do an episode on WikiLeaks.
That would be good. I would maybe season 2. Season 1.
We'll see. So we've been in pre-production for that, for a while now, but we've been in... the real pre-prod this last week and a half. So I've been sitting in on conversations with hilarious people and directing these sessions and overseeing them. And so I've just been watching you guys be funny and make jokes. And I've had to just like sit there and take notes. And I'm like, this, which I love. I love being able to produce it. That's what I want to do.
Right.
But also like it's very difficult for my brain.
Sorry,
it's hard.
We just finished sharing this to all the pages so everybody can watch us. Well, I will say this with complete confidence that the show would be funny if it was just like me doing it creatively on my own. But it's exponentially better with you as sort of my, I don't know, producer.
Yeah, I hope you know, because I'm taking a lot of credit for it.
Well,
so you should get very comfortable with saying co-producer and showrunner.
Yes, yeah. I mean, you really are. Short of being on camera, you're just as much of this show now as I am.
Yeah, that's
and Joey's helping us with it too.
Guys, as always, our engineer here, Joey. Let him hear you.
So stay tuned for very exciting in January. It's just really cool because this is our first like big project that we've created, like you and me, top to bottom. We found a company to put some money into it and make it part of their brand, and yeah, it's just really exciting stuff. But another note, unless you wanted to talk more about your tags and jokes that you wanted to.
No, I assume we can move on.
Well, we've been watching a lot of The Crown, or you've been watching a lot of The Crown. I've been by proxy learning about The Crown.
I didn't think I was going to get into it. I tried starting it 2 other times before this. So I don't know if I just really desperately needed something new to watch.
Yeah.
Well, okay. Well, here was the impetus, right?
Okay.
Was that I have never out true crimed myself.
Okay.
Up until 2 weeks ago, where I was like legit having trouble falling asleep by myself if you weren't there, because you were over at your brother's house one night and you ended up being there longer than I thought.
Right. And
I waited until you came home because I couldn't go to sleep because I was so freaked out. And that's when I was like, this is a problem. If I can't go to sleep in my own home, I've hit my quota for true crime documentaries. Because I was going hard.
You were.
Like I was doing like 3 at a time.
Yeah, and you're like weirdly...
3 at a time. I got so addicted that I started watching Carmel, which is a true crime documentary that's in Spanish.
Yeah,
I was straight up...
I remember that.
Watching on our honeymoon.
Boo.
That is an addiction. That's a problem.
Why do you... Anyway, we've talked about this in a bunch of
So
different
that's
ways.
where I was like, this is becoming a problem. Because I do often say... it's not like what we consume, like our health is not just like what we eat and our like output of exercise, right? Like our mental health is also like, who do you follow on social media?
Totally.
Like who do you surround yourself with? And due to COVID, I don't have the luxury of spending, time IRL with other people. Like I'm not going to my acting classes. I'm not like, there's so many things where I tend to be engaging with a lot of other people that have kind of been stripped away. And so really what I'm watching on television is such a main part of what I'm experiencing. And I didn't really realize that, like how real that was.
So am I hearing that we're finally past the true crime?
No, I'm on a sabbatical.
All right.
Okay.
It's
I'm
better
on a sabbatical from true crime.
I'll say this. I'll take the true crime documentaries over the pedophile documentaries. Those are too much. Those I have a really hard time watching.
They're very difficult to watch, but the Larry Nassar thing is the reason that documentary is so important is to remind people that people in positions of power that make other people money and keep giant institutions running, people sacrifice young people.
I understand. I'm glad the awareness has been raised, and the veil has been pulled back so we see what's going on. I'm just saying it's
also, no, I'm not like, if you love me, you will watch this documentary about pedophiles. Let's be clear. I've never been like, okay, if you love me, like, you will watch this thing. I've never done that.
No,
so that's when you're always like, oh, we have to watch this. I was like, I don't know who we Kimosabi is,
well,
okay?
I'm in the house.
You can go for a run or something.
No, I can't. The mayor told us to stay inside.
Well, that's a totally different segue. So I decided I was going to fall in love with The Crown. And I'll tell you what.
The Crown.
I
The
do.
Crown.
So much so, I have a problem. So much so that last night, because I've hit going into season 3.
Yeah.
So we've switched from young Queen Elizabeth to mature Queen Elizabeth. So now it's starring Olivia Colman, who I love. I mean, just phenomenal. Like, give me a solid character actress over the age of 50. Let's talk about it. Between Olivia Colman and Margot Martindale.
Yeah. Who are some other ones that?
Well, they were actresses that got like critical acclaim later in life. So it's not like a
Right.
actresses who have aged into that
I
category.
see.
I'm talking actresses that had done like theater and like
Right.
small bit parts forever, had always had a career, but then found fame, quote unquote, like in their 50s.
That was. I don't think she's quite 50 yet. But who was the woman? What's her name? She was starred in Watchmen.
Oh, Regina King?
Yeah.
Yeah.
She's a little older.
Yeah.
She's like an A-lister now. Well, almost.
Yeah. I would say Regina King is an
Yeah.
A-lister.
Yeah. Well, okay. So on The Crown. So that's what we're watching now.
Right.
Great show. I mean, I'm getting into it. You know, it's one of those shows. If you live with somebody, you know that like there's shows that you watch, and then there's shows that you watch because your partner or roommate is always watching it, and you sort of just by proxy end up watching it. I'm more into it now. I'm into it from a historical standpoint.
Well, that's what I really liked about it, because I realized, like, I don't know anything about, like, I don't remember the last time I took a history class.
Yeah. Well, probably when you were in college.
Yeah. So that's when I was like, oh, I don't, and I got really fascinated with American history
Mm-hmm.
in college. Like, I took this class that was all on the 60s,
Okay.
and it was like a Saturday morning class, but I took it specifically because, I mean, and again, college and Saturday morning, but I was like so just captivated by it. So yeah, I didn't even realize, of course it was like a fact I knew, but until you're like really watching it was like, oh yeah, this was like a giant monarch. Like they
Right.
owned like all of, Southern Africa and into the Indies and like, all.
Yeah, they were an empire.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And kind of so slowly watching how these places became,
Democratized.
yeah, and what that was like for this family.
Mhm.
And I'm also always so intrigued by people in positions of power and the ability
To maintain it.
that, but also like, what do we put off forward facing
Mm-hmm.
versus what's actually going on internally,
Sure.
right? And like what that does to people.
Well, The Crown, we're halfway through. You're super into it. I did find another show that deals with some history that's coming out very soon that I'm curious what you think about this. Joey, could you throw that link up for us here?
I feel like this is going to be a joke.
No, it's real. This is 100% real. But you're going to have a lot of opinions on it. Okay.
What is this?
Can you make it?
No, this is not real.
This is totally real. Hold on. So we're going to read this article and then we're going to watch the trailer. All right. So read the headline here.
I can't. I am shocked. Mario Lopez will play Colonel Sanders in KFC Lifetime original movie, A Recipe for Seduction.
Okay. First thoughts.
This is a movie. If somebody said, pitch me a fake movie right now,
Yeah.
this is what I imagine. Also, the fact that it's debuting at noon, that tells you everything you need to know.
All right. Read some of the article.
And listen, I don't want to hate on Mario Lopez because I'll tell you what, he has found a niche for himself.
Yeah, he's
and,
handsome.
and that man, he works,
Yeah.
So also like good on you,
Yeah.
right? But I mean, just what? Okay, I got to read what this is. Fast food giant Kentucky Fried Chicken is frying up a batch of drama for Lifetime with the premiere of its own original mini movie. I don't. What is that? A short film? It was a mini movie. Really, what they should say is, "This was such a bad idea, we cut it in half, just like our chicken." A recipe for seduction. The movie will feature former Saved by the Bell star and current extra host Mario Lopez as the franchise iconic Colonel Sanders character based on the founder because every other actor was unavailable. The poster features Lopez with salt and peppered hair, glasses, and a beard. Why would they write that? We already saw, with the plot yet to be released because they're still trying to figure it out. The film's poster promises finger-licking intrigue.
Okay, now I know this looks like a SNL bit.
Wait, I gotta read. We all have our secrets. His just happens to be a recipe for seduction.
Okay, now Joey, can you throw up that other link I sent you? So, yeah, let's take a look at this here.
What the hell are you doing?
A Lifetime original mini movie.
You don't answer my proposal, and now you're not answering my call.
I think I'm falling for the new chef.
Jessica is falling for Harlan.
The cook? Leave Jessica alone and skip town.
He has a secret recipe that's going to change the world.
Harlan claims to have some secret recipe.
A secret recipe? Spare me.
We all have our secrets. If you marry my daughter, I promise there'll be more long weekends in your future.
Mom, I have to tell you something.
We have a problem.
Secret's out, chicken man. I'll take care of this.
Stop.
Everything!
Just kill him already!
Who the hell are you?
Harlan Sanders, the new chef.
Mario Lopez is Colonel Sanders in a recipe for seduction. Premieres December 13th.
Did he take this on a dare?
I mean, it looks like a fake movie, right? That looks like, you know when movies, they have like trailers for fake movies?
Yeah, in movies.
Yeah. But it's coming out this weekend.
At noon.
Yeah.
I have so many thoughts, and if anybody out there, somebody I know has worked with Mario Lopez. Here's the other thing, because he's on the new Saved by the Bell show that's doing really well. My friend Shantira writes on it, and it's getting like rave reviews. It's doing really well. It's like super kind of kitschy and satirical, like very aware of itself.
Yeah.
And it's doing phenomenal. So, and I mean, that guy's got to be incredibly wealthy. I mean, you
Right.
think about all of the oh God, all I can think about is chicken now. The residual checks that he's got from Extra. I mean,
that's what I'm wondering. Like, why? What was the incentive for him to do this role?
I just can't imagine anybody on set.
Right? I mean,
the director of like receiving this. Do you know what I mean? Like being like, I don't know how you take any of that seriously. I'd be like, listen, I'm going to direct this like a sketch because that's the only way I know how.
Right.
I mean, there's somebody who put that makeup on Mario every day.
And
it had to keep a straight face.
Interesting choice. I believe Mario's Mexican in his heritage. Interesting choice making Colonel Sanders Latin descent.
Well, was Colonel Sanders, what was?
I think he was white. I think.
Well, I mean, that's the picture, but who knows?
It's true. I just assumed that. I don't know. Can you Google that, Joey, if we can find out?
Can anybody find the descent of Colonel Sanders? And that was the other thing. Like, why did he have to be in that outfit? Because you know what it looked like? He looked like he was like a sexy Colonel Sanders for Halloween.
That's what they're trying to do.
That's what that...
What's the buy-in for KFC? I don't understand.
That's the thing. What kind of rebrand? Somebody over at KFC was like, listen, sex sells. And I don't know what we have to do, but we got to sell this chicken. Yeah. Someone's like, who's the sexiest person you can think of? Someone's like, I don't know, Idris Elba. No. I don't know, Brad Pitt. Absolutely not. Someone goes, I don't know. I've kind of always been a fan of Mario Lopez. Call his people.
He's very handsome.
Very handsome.
He's always been in great shape.
But it looks like a telenovela.
Of course. Well, maybe they have to. Okay, let's see here. So he's clearly a white guy. Well, I guess his
name is Harland David.
Yeah, I mean, I think
I also love that it points out that the colonel was honorary and he's not actually in a military rank.
Okay,
does it say? Yeah, nationality American. Well, you could be American and also have a different descent.
Yeah, he was born here. Well, anyway, I just thought it was an interesting choice.
Yeah, not that we're going to be like, that's not equal representation.
No, I don't. Yeah, well, because I showed it to Joey when you were in the restroom before we started. And he actually pointed out, he's like, oh, interesting, because, you know, there's been a conversation now about having, in general, different roles played by.
Well, I was going to say that, but I'm like, that's more of a realistic take rather than like the absolute ridiculousness. Also, can you pull up the IMDb for this? Does it exist yet?
Let's see.
Because I think my friend Martin Morrow is in this movie.
Oh, that was your friend Martin in it?
I think the black gentleman.
Yeah. He looked, I know Martin Morrow. He kind of looked like him.
If it's not Martin, it's Martin's twin.
Let's see here. I don't see it on IMDb yet.
Because it's a mini movie.
Yeah, but it should be. It's not.
I mean, that's the thing. Like, in partnership with Kentucky Fried Chicken, like, haven't they already had enough struggle? I mean, I just.
Hold on, I'm trying to see if I can get any more info on this. I came across that and I was like,
I want to have a viewing party. I mean, I don't think that there's a way now that I can not watch that.
Well, let's find out. I mean, let's listen. Okay, all of our loyal House Rules followers.
I would say I don't need anything else for Christmas.
Just
that was gift enough.
Just a live viewing. I would love to get very high and watch that movie.
I mean,
or mini movie, which a mini movie is just a long TV episode.
But that's the thing where I'm like, but also like, how short is it? You know, like, stop.
It's 15 minutes. Oh my! Oh, you found it. Okay, wait. So it's just a sketch. What is this? Why was this made?
Oh yes, that Lifetime movie with Mario Lopez as hunky Colonel Sanders is real. Oh my gosh.
So that's not a mini movie.
Yeah, it's a 15-minute bite-sized film that will debut. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh.
We have to watch
I mean,
it.
Mario has to be in on the joke, right? I mean, he
Yeah,
has to
of course.
know.
I mean, the fact that it's a 15-minute mini movie, it's basically a comedy. They're trying to make it like campy, I think.
Well, if they didn't, wow, did they succeed? I mean, that is. Oh wow.
Well, this is what I'm wondering, because here's a thing I just thought of, right? So COVID shut down a lot of productions. What if they only had 15 minutes worth of the film, and they're like, you know what? It's going to suck anyway. Let's just figure out a way to put a bow on this, put it out, call it a mini movie.
I mean, at 100%. And I'm now like, I don't even know. I mean, Kentucky Fried Chicken exists, right?
Yeah. What do you mean?
But now they call it KFC.
Yeah, they took out the.
Because Kentucky Fried Chicken was what? That was somehow.
I think because they're trying to do a rebrand, because emphasizing that it's fried chicken is like unhealthy. And now they all. I know.
They still sell a thing of mashed potatoes that has gravy, corn, chicken.
Do you remember?
Lard.
There was a thing they had a while ago, and it was like 2 slabs of fried chicken, and then in between it was like bacon, cheese, and like some kind of aioli mayo sauce, and it was like wrapped in more bacon. There was some name for it.
Yeah, I feel like we even like did a bit about it.
Yeah.
Gosh.
What was it called?
I think
Double
so.
Down, maybe,
Something
yeah.
like that.
You know, in Japan, there's actually a KFC buffet.
Wow. Well, you've been to the Big Chicken, or you've been by it in Marietta, Georgia, which has also been featured on Jeopardy, which is a giant chicken whose mouth goes up, like open and close, and the eyes spin around.
Yeah.
And that was always like my awareness of KFC.
Yeah.
Was from the Big Chicken.
I just, when I saw that, because before the show we're talking about, like, what are we going to talk about this episode? And I stumbled across that, and I was like, oh, man.
But see, I see things like that, and I go, really? And it's hard. Sometimes it's hard to get a meeting in L.A.
I know.
And things like that are being made.
Well, the funny thing is, and then I think about...
I don't know what's worse for my health, KFC or having to watch that movie.
Yeah, I mean... But you know what's crazy, though? I bet it's going to be really popular because it's so preposterous. Everybody's going to watch it. Like... if Casey or one of our other friends was like, let's have a viewing party, and she just pitched you, not even seeing it, just telling you the log line, you'd be like, oh, yeah, 15 minutes to watch that? Absolutely.
I would also start to think like maybe it's an intervention. Like she's just trying to trick me to get her over to her house, because I'm like, there's no way that something like this is possibly real. That's hilarious. That is a phenomenal find.
Well.
And that's going to be the
you're
gift that
welcome.
keeps on giving,
Absolutely.
And I still got to figure out if that's Martin in that movie.
Well, let me look it up.
I mean,
okay, but in the meantime, so apparently in Los Angeles we've hit new lockdown. It's very confusing. I'm curious where you guys live. Have they also instituted new lockdown protocols? Because it's very unclear here in, well, okay, so I'm looking at Martin's IMDb. It's not on there. Okay, anyway, that's not important. That's what's been frustrating. So there's this video that went really viral recently in LA. So there's a restaurant in Sherman Oaks called the Pineapple Saloon. And the owner of Pineapple Saloon was outside with a video showing all her tables and all the work she did to be admitted to have outdoor dining. City shuts down outdoor dining again because of spikes in COVID. But right next to it is a big setup for a production, which is like a film set overflow area, basically. Exact same thing. So the city made exceptions for the production to be allowed to have their outdoor seating area, but they shut down the restaurant.
Oh, I think it's all absurd. I managed to. I feel like now I actually have an idea of my opinion on all this, and I'll tell you, it's taken. What is it? 9 months or 10 months? How long have we done this? 9.
We started. COVID kicked in around
March
20th, I think.
Yeah.
For
so
us.
so about 9 months.
Yeah.
And I finally feel like I have a full-fledged idea.
Your COVID ideas came to full term, and you birthed them out.
Yep, and here we go. So happy to have you here for the birth. No, but just that I don't think that it's ever one way or the other. I don't think it's that like, well, if you let them, take one right, then like suddenly we're all like, yeah, I think the government certainly like never, misses an opportunity to triumph during a crisis for sure and try to make themselves look good. And I think people should be questioning, when their rights are taken away, et cetera. But also like there's a pandemic. If someone's asking you to wear like a mask in Costco, like don't be stupid.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like calm down.
Yeah.
But I am beginning to be enraged that it's all like, you know what the hoax of this is? COVID is real.
Yeah.
But thinking that our government is doing anything to protect us is the biggest hoax in American history.
Yeah.
Because the fact that, I mean, again, once that, like, it was one thing, was it Pelosi who got the haircut?
Yep.
And everybody lost their mind?
Yeah.
Right? And then with a Newsom, but just, what a penis in a suit. I mean, I can't even stand the guy. He's an absolute moron.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm like, stop speaking to us, because
Yeah.
everything you say one thing and then you're doing another thing. Do you know what I mean? Like he reminds me of those like the inflatable clown things,
Right.
where you punch it and it goes down and then it just comes back up. Like, I'm tired of looking at your dumb face and hearing you tell me things when, where it's like, well, we're shutting down schools for, safety because everybody should be at home. Well, but I'm going to put my kids in private school because I can afford it. So like,
Dude,
screw off. And then, I'm going to sit at this giant table. Like, these people are in positions of power. They think people aren't looking at them.
So the mayor.
I have less than 5,000 followers on Instagram, and I go out and I'm like, well, I could be filmed at any time, Like, I mean, I don't know if that says more about me or what it does, but it's like, I mean, people's are just. Would I say, when I teach little kids of like, think before you speak.
Yep.
And now I feel like I have to say that to people that are in charge of making laws.
Well, so our, friend of the show, Ricky from Ricky Rants, he pointed out that it's a scam. Small businesses are under attack. Traditional industry is under attack. Digital businesses are consolidating their power. And you're 100% right,
100%. And that's and that's the thing where I somewhere I've gotten really frustrated with, folks that are super on the left, because it's like, if you leave your house, then you're trying to kill people.
Right.
And
well, the thing that's,
or just that you're reckless or you don't, whatever. And it's like, no, that's not true at all. It's like, I do know, sadly, I do know of some folks that have passed from COVID that aren't like super old, or didn't have pre-existing conditions and things like that. So this is very real.
Yeah.
And I have had a handful of friends, let me finish,
No,
a
I
handful
know.
of friends at this point that have gotten very sick and luckily been able to recover. So this is very real, and people need to be very safe. Don't be stupid. Wear a mask. Stay away from people. Wash your hands. Get tested regularly if that's something that is available to you. I mean, all of these things. But to think for a second that your government gives a shit about you staying healthy is absolutely ludicrous. And I beg of you to think for a second why you would hold that view. because during this time, so many people have been denied. It's almost like up to 1 million people or something that have been denied health insurance during this time. We have a health insurance policy that basically, we have not even a policy, it's a complete infrastructure that's basically there to price people out.
Right.
And that was whether it's, and someone's going to be like, well, Obama, don't even, unless you actually know anything about it, don't say that to me. It's infuriating.
Yeah.
But whether, the government was trying to create an infrastructure or it's free market, either way, they have all the power and we don't. So it's not about keeping people healthy. And you and I have talked about this before, where it's like, if we were in the business of keeping people healthy, like, we would make produce more readily available. We would actually talk about, we would have the Food and Drug Administration be much more transparent. We would have, more mental health facilities available. We would have, all of these things that actually keep people in a place of wellness and health.
Well, I think
we have a system that is designed to keep people sick.
100%. And I think we're going to look back on this time. Like when you and I are in our senior years, God willing, we make it to that.
Remember, we're going to die at the same time holding hands in bed, okay? Don't laugh, Joey. It's true.
Oh, God. This is Rachel's fantasy.
It's a reality, Alex.
By the way, Tucker and Ricky, thank you guys for all these great comments. I can't read them all live, but they're throwing up some great stuff about just how the hard media is in on the scam and things like that. But what I really feel like, we're just now, like us collectively, like the common folks, we're really starting to see things that we kind of always sort of knew, but now it's like really becoming apparent. And just the fact that Amazon's been able to hire 400,000 people since COVID started, but then you can't tell me that an Amazon warehouse is somehow safer than all these small businesses that are, dying to have some kind of operating power.
Well, and again, where it's like we still had a $4 trillion tax cut for the rich.
Yeah.
And yet you gave everybody $1,200 once.
I know,
you
right?
cannot, in good faith, get up at a podium in any position of power and tell me that you're trying to figure out how to help the collective when you are voting in opposition of providing things for people. That doesn't make this country socialist, and people got to fucking knock it off with that word too, because people love throwing that word around. Oh my God. It's just like
nobody really even knows how to use it properly.
No,
yeah.
most people don't. But this is what I'm saying. Where it's like, well, if we do that, it's like, oh, they're socialist, and it's like, what do you watch Tucker Carlson one time and somebody was on there and said it, and now that's like your buzzword.
Right.
Beat it.
But also on the other end, people who just claim like Trump's a fascist, like you're not really
sure. Anything that is too one way or the other is to me is not to be trusted.
But I'd have to do research on this for the exact specifics, and our friends that are like Ricky and Tucker and you guys that are well versed in this, maybe you could chime in. But I think Congress passed another military spending bill. And instead of doing the next round of stimulus, they just said, all right, we can't come to an agreement on that, but we're going to dump a bunch of more money into the military. And, the regular folks here, I guess they'll just have to
because one of the reasons why they couldn't come to an agreement was because that the Republicans basically wanted a clause in the bill stating that these mega companies could, if their employees got sick, they either wouldn't get leave or that they couldn't sue the companies.
Right.
So basically saying, in opposite of this whole thing of like, oh, everybody stay at home because we don't want you to get people sick. Yet one of the biggest clauses was that they were like, no, we want to be able to make these people work and then not take care of them.
I know.
Like,
God.
get out of here. I would rather, you know what I mean? It's like, I would rather know you're a mean girl. I would rather you walk up to me, slam my locker and be like, guess what? I'm going to the dance with Billy, not you. Like, I would rather the government be a Gretchen.
So Ricky said yes. They approved over $700 billion for the Pentagon. But us regular folks. Listen, and you and I have been very lucky. We have enough resources and skills and kind of wherewithal to navigate how to make the best of the situation.
Yeah, and think about how exhausted we are from being able to do that.
Dude, it's just like, I don't know.
So now imagine not having additional resources, not being able-bodied and being able to do multiple things. Having multiple mouths to feed, not having even family to rely on as emotional support. Forget financial support if be, but even having people there that you can call and can be there and be support.
Well, the thing that's also frustrating is it also really proves that if the industry is big enough, they will be able to basically get exceptions.
100%.
Hollywood productions is the great example, right? Because there's no, I mean, listen, we work in Hollywood to an extent. We have a lot of friends that do. We live here. So I clearly
You do remember that fat residual check I got recently?
You did.
I
Hey.
didn't know that it was coming, and I was like, God bless residuals.
Dude, it was like a $1,200
it was so nice. Just came out of nowhere.
And I was like, oh man, we got to pay these bills. And I was like, oh, I opened it for you, and I thought it was a bill that we owed somehow.
Yeah, you thought it was what I owed SAG.
And I was like, oh yeah, because it came from SAG.
Yeah.
And then it was like, oh, you got money, woohoo! Okay, time to put it down towards the MX. All right. Anyway, my point is though, as much as we love Hollywood, it's not essential. It's certainly not any more essential than any other business that people are, a restaurant owner or, a hairstylist or any of that. I mean, it's all, somewhat frivolous when you can, try to compare it. But I don't know. It just, I understand.
But it's also like, again, tell me what it is. Say they have more power than you. They give us more money in taxes, so they get to stay open and you don't. We're sorry. Like, you know what I mean? Like, that's just what I'm saying, where it's like, just tell me the truth.
Right. Well,
like, it's so much more insulting, and then it's just so much more frustrating because it's like, just, everybody in their dumb memes and everybody online just thinks they're so smart, Like, I'm so sick of it. Like, I like somehow in 2020 memes have been ruined for me. You know what I mean?
Right.
Because everyone's just like, here's my point of view and I'm sassy. But, it's like, it's just like, here's a funny caption. It's a picture of a bird, but not really. It's political.
Well, and you know what? The interesting thing, bringing it back to The Crown, what we really realized watching that. So we've been watching bits of The Crown and a real documentary about the royal family.
About Windsor, because I'm obsessed.
Yeah, I'm kind of into it. I mean, royalty freaks me out. Like the concept of monarchies and royalty is weird to me. Like just that obsession with power and control. But whatever. It's history. But it's interesting because we really did, like, it's sort of obvious, but really watching the documentary, it shows like, oh, the royal families, they were the first celebrities. They were the first influencers. Mm-hmm. And the things they would do, like they showed like Queen Elizabeth going on these different tours and stuff. And it's like, oh, now we do all that. Everybody does it with their stupid iPhones.
Well, that was like the Kardashians posted recently, and I don't follow them, but I saw somebody posted this and it made me laugh. But it was just like a picture of them from their very infamous Christmas Eve party.
Yeah.
So I guess Kris Jenner released a statement saying it's the first time since 1978 that they're not having a Christmas Eve party. And it was like, we're all doing our part. And someone was like, oh, God bless you, Kris Jenner. Like, how far removed are you? I mean, either way, good on you, Kris Jenner, because they could have still thrown it and been we rapid tested everybody or whatever.
But just
so
the fact that she was like, we are sacrificing.
Yes, but thinking, that they're like really like since 1978 that they're like not doing this thing, and it's like, well, sorry that you guys are gonna have to auto tune your faces,
Well,
at a different event.
The other funny thing, because people sometimes say like, oh, the Kardashians want to be like American royalty or something,
right? And
then watching The Crown in the documentary, like, and the problems they have behind the scenes, they're not any different.
Yeah.
It's just that the Windsor family has been around longer, but it's the same bullshit of like, you can't date them, you can't say this, you have to do that. It's like, oh, it's all the same theatrics and optics for nonsense.
Yeah. Yeah, it's interesting what we will do to not be ourselves.
Yeah.
Like, not to be like totally Rachel LaForce, but it's like, it is like watching those. It's like, gosh,
the lengths we'll go through to fool ourselves into the reality we wish we were living.
Yeah, 100%. And it's like, I don't know, like I feel now it's like the quickest way to get to the life you actually want to lead, or this like, idyllic sense that you have, is to live in your most like authentic self, and you'll get to where you want to be way faster than, carrying on in this.
Think about how long it took you to get there. And you're incredibly self-aware.
31 years.
Right. So it's, we also don't.
And I just also want to say I'm better than everyone else, okay? I am enlightened and I figured it out. No, not that at all. But yeah, you're right. I mean, listen, it's like we will do, our brains are capable of really creating some heavy denial, totally. And we can convince ourselves of almost anything.
By the way, Tucker pointed out, he says Mario Lopez playing the Emperor of Fried Chicken is the definition of American royalty.
Oh, that's funny. Yeah.
I would say Mario Lopez is like TV royalty. He's one of those guys where
Daytime TV.
yeah, but like, you know, he's had a couple like big hits that have been, I mean, think about how long Saved by the Bell was on TV. He's done Extra for what, like a decade?
I don't know how that's still a show.
Well,
Isn't that just like your news feed? I don't know.
It is interesting.
I mean, listen, Mario, I don't want to take any food off your table, you know?
Sounds like shots fired. I do feel like shows like Extra kind of have become irrelevant in the social media age.
Yeah.
Like who? But you know, I also didn't watch them pre-internet, so
Yeah.
it's like this is what celebrities do. I was about to make fun of it, but I also follow. We all just now follow the celebrities we like. Like my celebrities are like comedians, podcasters, UFC fighters, entrepreneurs. You know, like those people are who I'm into.
I've recently been falling down, like because I'm always so shocked at these like mega young celebrities that I've never heard of. And so, you know, occasionally one will pop up in your like explore page or whatever. I'm like, who is this?
Right.
And I am fascinated by like I wish I had images, but like now all of like the like this is a big face everybody's making where they twist their tongue like this and it's like and it's just these like
Wait, like
super
what?
like but it's like super hot girls, but they're like 16.
Yeah.
And they're clearly not eating because like their ribs are out here, right? And then it's like they do it where their jeans fit their hips but not their waist because their waist
Right.
is so small. But there's like 4 or 5 different poses that like they're all doing, but people are obsessed.
Yeah.
But it just looks like it's the most.
Your feet and my feet are very different.
No, I'm saying I don't like. It's just like it'll be
Oh,
very rare or
okay.
occasional that they're not like in my explore feed. That'd be very weird.
Well, I
But
was gonna say because you follow what's the girl from Stranger Things?
Millie Bobby Brown.
You follow her.
Yeah.
And I'm wondering if because they're like suggesting like you like this teenager.
Well, I've muted her because it's just a lot. Because it's a lot of those faces and then like the lollipops.
But think about
and then like, you know,
okay, so
it's weird.
You're a performer. You're an actress. Imagine you at what is she? 15, 16? Yeah. Imagine you at 15 or 16 being skyrocketed into mega fame on one of the most popular shows Netflix has ever made, and you're the star of it, and you're a child.
Yeah,
I
get it.
that.
I mean, it's a weird, twisted reality. I'm just saying, I think that there is something anthropologically to all of these girls looking
Totally
the same. And I'm not saying there's anything wrong with wanting to be attractive. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with being conventionally attractive. My life, frankly, probably would have been a little bit easier had that been the case.
I think you're beautiful.
Thank you. But I'm not saying I'm ugly. I think I'm very attractive, but I'm saying that
I get it.
conventional, you know, attractive. But it's weird now. It's weird. Like, I wonder when we might go back to like women looking like a natural beauty. Remember we talked about that with like
We watched Karate Kid.
Elizabeth Shue and
Yeah.
Karate Kid.
She's beautiful.
But
But
she
looks
looks
like a normal 16-year-old.
She looks
Yeah.
normal. Like
Yeah.
now everybody has the same nose and the same lip. Like, because the last time that I went to get Botox, which it's been a while, I know. But the last time I went and I don't remember what it was, but I was like doing something close after, and you're not supposed to do X amount of things to your face. Botox, if you haven't done it, I highly recommend it if it's something you're into. It's like very non-invasive, you know, yada, whatever. So, but you still have to like let your skin, because they're, you know, still like minor little pricks or whatever, and they have to heal, but it only takes like an hour for them to do so. So anyway, I was like, hey, I actually have to go to this thing. So like, I do actually have to put makeup on my face within like 30 minutes. Can I do that? And she was like, yeah, you're fine. The reason we really say that is because we have all these young girls in here who feel like they can't wear makeup. So they leave here, they go directly to their car, and
You're saying they can't not wear makeup is what you're saying.
yeah, like they're so
They have to wear
so
makeup.
beauty obsessed,
Right.
that she's like, we have all these young girls that
Right.
come in here
That's so
and then
sad.
go directly to their car, and I quote, she goes, and use their dirty ass makeup brushes and put all of that bacteria back on their face. And she was like, and then their like face can have a reaction. And then I go, and I instantly go, I'm incredibly naive about how young, like that women that are, you know,
Well,
18 years old are completely
now
like changing their entire face.
now think about fast forward to 15 or however long years from now, we've got a teenage daughter who's like, "Hey, Mom, I need Botox. All of my friends are getting, or whatever the news thing is, right? All of my friends are getting it. You can't make me."
Mom, I need to do face swap. Hillary and I have decided that we're going to swap faces, okay? It's not that big of a deal, Mom. I'm just going to have Hillary's face now, okay? Everybody changes faces. I don't know why you're not cool with this. Oh, I get it. Oh, you and Dad made my face. Okay, well, I don't like it, okay? And if you want to look at my face, you can go to Hillary's house because she'll have my face now.
I do not have the energy to do. Oh God. At least when they're babies, they can't talk back.
No, hopefully our kid's going to be interesting enough that like that's not going to be the thing she's focused on.
I think our kid. Who knows? But wait, speaking of Stranger Things, this Friday.
Oh yeah.
You're not excited?
No, I am. I just think it's hilarious. So we bought these tickets. So I thought it was going to be a thing that we were doing
Around
over Halloween.
Yeah.
And, because of COVID, you can't really do anything. So we've been trying to do all of these like drive-through experiences or whatever, you
Right.
know, to really soak up the 1950s.
Yeah.
And so we bought tickets that were probably too expensive to go to this relatively cheesy drive-through experience of Stranger Things.
It might be cool. I don't know.
But now we're going in December.
I don't remember why I picked the date. It was just.
I think it was like the first one that was available.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. I don't know. We both like Stranger Things. It could be good.
It'll be fine. I still can't believe that it's $60 to go to Christmas lights at Dodger Stadium.
Yeah, that I'm not paying for.
I mean,
But that's a big thing out here. I'm sure in a lot of places there's, drive-through Christmas lights instead of having people, which again, it's like it's outside. Let people, to me, walking around outside with masks on, I don't see how that could be an issue, but, But there's Six Flags, though, they have a drive-through Christmas lights thing, and that one's only $30.
I just can't. So there used to be this place called Life College. I don't know if it
Okay.
existed other places or just in Georgia, but it was a chiropractic school that later lost its accreditation, and it was like this big scandal. But they used to call, or maybe
Sounds like something out of Arrested Development.
maybe it wasn't actually called the Lights of Life, but that's what my dad used to call it, and he would take us every year, like me and a friend. And
Bert would make that up.
yeah,
I
and
could-
my dad always had trucks, still do, and so it would be like my dad, me in the middle, and then like a friend, and we would go drive through the Lights of Life, and which I remember it was like still a pretty good light display. I mean, about 30 minutes to drive through it, but yeah, my dad would have to, the whole way through the Lights of Life. We'll
Okay.
actually have to ask Bert about that if
So
it
it's-
was actually called that or not.
So, two things real quick. Ricky says Stranger Things is pretty friggin' cool, and I agree. And Tucker says, I have a question for you guys. What are the 3 things each of you are going to buy in 2021? Huh. Okay. 3 things we're going to buy in 2021. I want to give silly answers, but I was,
Wow, what did it just like? He's just curious what we want to buy.
yeah. I mean, I don't know. I guess I should probably buy life insurance. I'm married now. I want you taken care of. Something, God forbid, were to happen to me.
Gosh.
I don't know. I don't really have anything I want to buy.
Well, we might have to buy a new car.
Yeah. Our car is at over, it's now 110,000 miles. Although, Hondas, they run, man. I don't know. I don't have a good answer for that question.
I don't know. Yeah, that's where I'm like, I can give you like some fun, silly answers.
Okay, well,
for
he
this.
said his are a plane ticket to Cuba in April, a plane ticket to Cancun in June, and a plane ticket to Argentina in October. Is there a joke here I'm not getting?
I know. That's where I was like, are we supposed to be going somewhere? I don't know.
Well, we've got about 15 minutes left. And one thing we should probably mention, we've teased this in previous episodes. So, guys, officially, House Rules, the podcast, is going to be wrapping up at the end of this year. Now, we're going to still be podcasting next year, but we've decided to kind of rebrand the show. We've been telling you. So next year, we're going to swap it to a morning show. I think a morning slot, kind of more our speed. We're going to do it at 10 a.m. Pacific time every Monday. We're going to maybe work up towards multiple days a week, but, crawl before you walk before you run, etc. But that's the goal. Eventually, a multiple day a week morning show podcast, 10 a.m. And the name House Rules, we don't dislike it, but we kind of just picked a name just because, we had to name it something, and we didn't really have a lot of thought behind it. But we feel like, given the rapport of the show, where it's gone, if you guys have been watching from the beginning, it's sort of evolved into what it is now. So now we're going to be calling the show
Common ground.
We feel like
So I feel like I could do a better job of delivering this rebrand.
Wow, thanks,
guys,
Rachel.
We are going to be rebranding the show. Here's a couple reasons why. We've heard from you what you like about the show, what you feel like needs reworking. And, you know, I always tell people in creative endeavors, start before you're ready. You'll figure out what the product is. And our branding, the show time, we've outgrown it, which is a good thing. And so the number one thing we always hear from you guys is we love your dynamic. We love your dynamic. You have such different points of view, and you always find common ground. So I was like, there's something to that. And I'm really enjoying talking about current events, topical things. It's a way for me to engage. It's still a way for me to be funny and learn a little bit. And so I said, well, what if we make it a morning show and people can start their day with us? And so, so we're going to be coming to you starting with Mondays. And then, like Alex said, we're going to be working up. So hopefully by mid 2021, we'll be at Mondays and Fridays. But for now, we will be Monday mornings. 10 a.m. and then, sorry guys, it'll be lunchtime for you, all of our listeners over on the East Coast.
I guess midday. You'll be maybe you start your day at 1 p.m.
I know a few people on the East Coast that's when they start their day. But that is it. So we've got a new sizzle reel that'll be coming out for that. A bunch of new branding. So we'll be rolling that out.
Ricky said he's gonna miss our artwork.
Really?
Yeah, I love this artwork. Shout out again to Josh Magic Michaels, previous guest of the show. Great designer. You know, it had its place, but we've kind of just decided to retire this artwork. It was, you know, a wonderful first-year art for the show. And, Ricky also had a web series called Common Ground, a new comedy web series. Turns out Common Ground is a not unique name, but I feel like we talked about it for a while, and it's the most fitting title for what the show is.
Yeah. One marriage, two comedians, infinite opinions. Searching every week for common ground.
I also just appreciated, I'm used to it by now, but you're like, okay, your rebrand was terrible. Let me pitch it. You don't know how to do this.
Well, I mean, listen, I feel like not as your wife, but as your creative partner, perhaps it could have used a little bit of zhuzhing.
Okay. Anyway, we also have some merch that we're working on.
We are going to be peddling some hot merch, my friends.
Stay
some
tuned.
hot merch. Yeah, no, there's a lot more to come from this. Unfortunately, it has been a little bit of like a wah-wah of this like rebrand in a sense because we've been so focused on highly unlikely. And my biggest takeaway from this year is you can do everything, but you can't do it all at once.
Yes.
So,
we have learned a lot this month. Just you and I producing this second project. It's, you know, really a digital series. It's not really a podcast. I mean, it is a series. And, you know, we've had some help from some great people. Joey's helping us with the engineering and, you know, our talent coordinator, our associate producer. But I'd say 75% of the work is just you and me. And, whoo, man, I understand what they mean when they say, you know, you better love what you do if you're going to get into the arts because, you know, the amount of work like per hour compared to like what we're taking home, not really, you know.
Well, this go around. But yeah,
Yes, correct.
So
right.
that's don't make it seem like you hate what you're doing.
No, I love
everyone
it.
That's listening.
No, I'm sorry. I love it. This project is incredible. It's so funny. We've done some stuff with it already, and it's really good. I just simply mean, like, if I wasn't so excited and passionate about it, I would be like, this is so much work. I'm not doing this.
Yeah, well, that's why most people don't produce their own stuff because
Right.
it's exhausting. But it's going to be fun. But yeah, because of that, it's been difficult we were kind of hoping to already have the sizzle and have all these things out to kind of throw and show you. I didn't realize we were going to tell everybody this week. But
Wait, yeah, we said, remember? We've been teasing that this week we were going to announce
I don't know. I don't know. You're right.
Joey, do you remember? Joey doesn't remember either.
Joey doesn't remember. This was great. I would say.
We're not done yet.
Oh.
I just wanted to make sure. I didn't want to forget it. And we were kind of in the last chunk of the show.
I feel like people won't forget it now. This has been an epic conversation.
Yeah. But, you know, like I said, so really, as you point out, it's the same show in terms of content, but we're updating the graphics, the name, the time slot to really fit what the show is. And the biggest thing you pointed out, because we're talking about so many like topical things, and we love when people chime in, and your usual folks here, Helga, Luann, Ricky, Tucker, all you guys who chime in weekly, we love it. It's great. And we just figured, maybe a daytime slot would be a little bit better for that sort of dynamic and rapport with folks. And Luann says, yes, for a couple weeks. I heard there was a change coming.
Oh, there we go. Thank you, Luann.
Yes.
And congrats on twins.
There we go.
That's so exciting.
I don't know. We have.
Well, that's why you said 15 minutes. Then you started talking about this. I was like, well, now it's kind of anticlimactic. You got to end the show. You can't talk about a new thing now with 5 minutes left.
Well, I guess. All right. Listen, guys, we'll end it early this week. Why not? Is there any?
You know what I will say is nuts?
What?
Is the fact that we have somehow managed to do this show every single week for a year.
Yeah. Yeah. We started the first week of January, I believe. I'll go back and check. And we did a few bonus episodes that were like extras, but I think this is episode 51, I believe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that is crazy. And
I'm proud of us.
I am really looking forward to, because I feel like the folks who like the show and enjoy it really love it and enjoy it. We just haven't had the space to really like promote it properly and do so. I'm hoping with this, with the rebrand and the new show coming out in January, but again, I think it's the same with anything, as I always tell people, of if you're getting into something for instant gratification, you're getting into it for the wrong reasons.
Absolutely.
And so, it's like, what do they say? The secrets of your future lie in your day-to-day habits.
I have not heard that, but that's amazing. Yeah.
Yep.
So let's end on that. So what are some of your day-to-day habits that you've really embraced ending 2020?
Well, I would say schedule-wise, I'm actually not on my game as normal, but I would say that I've prioritized rest during this time. Like, I've certainly put on some COVID pounds, and just
everybody has.
Well, I know, but I'm just saying that, like, I just kind of had to accept that that's what my body needed right now. Like, I'm not like out eating pizza every day being like, the world's ending, but it was more just of like, yeah, you're not in your normal schedule. And so like your body's going to need different things and you're going to adjust.
Yeah.
So I feel like I've really just prioritized resting, because our attention has been split to so many different projects and so many different things. So I feel like my biggest takeaway from 2020 is everything always works out and there's a season for everything. And, and I don't mean in the Pollyanna sense of like everything always works out or everything happens for a reason. No, like unfair things happen all the time. We live in an unjust world, but that if you allow things to work out as something bigger than you allows them to work out, whether you identify with a higher power or whatever. And mine for me is just the universe, all of us as a whole, of like, sorry, I'm boring you. That
Stop it.
If
we've been up since early this morning.
Okay, I'm joking. Ugh. That if like we're killing Joey.
Joey's cracking up.
But just
here.
that if you just allow things to unfold as they're meant to, like just get out of the way. Like there's just been so many things, like even with our marriage license, which we haven't even gone into, we're still not even officially married. We've had to fill out so much back and forth paperwork.
Well,
it's been like a comedy of
we're not
errors.
legally married.
That's what I mean.
Yeah.
It's been like a comedy of errors of trying to be legally married for the state of California. But just where I was like, I'm not.
Luann says it's called life.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Exactly right. And just like, I feel like I'm really, the more I put myself in the position of a student of life rather than trying to master it, it's so much easier.
Yeah.
Like it's just so much easier, and it's so much easier said than done. But I feel like my stress levels have dropped significantly because I'm no longer concerned with thinking that I'm supposed to have everything right away.
Sure.
And the idea that like there's a season for everything. Like, like a previous season to this, I, was solely independent, was like working on some other things. So like I looked incredible because my health and fitness was like the number one priority.
Yeah, that was like me in 2018.
You know, I know oh my God, we looked incredible. But you know, where there's just a season for everything, and you can't do everything at once. So I would say those are my biggest takeaways from 2020, and my day-to-day routines. Probably the things that really save me are being able to write every day. Rest, and then like rotating through. Oh, and I would say really being mindful of my intake.
Wow, what a great note to end on. What? What's so funny?
You.
Why?
Oh, not everybody can see your face. You just go, well, what a great note to end on after yawning twice. Do you have anything to say over there?
I mean, 2020, I feel like the last few episodes we've been kind of like, what did we learn this? You know what I mean? But we are wrapping up the year. It's good to.
'Tis the season.
Yeah. I mean, just, work on my patience, work on my managing stress and anxiety, working on having faith it will work out. What's so funny?
I'm just laughing because earlier we had another recording session, and one of the things that you guys were talking about was if you guys could, I think we were talking about The Crown briefly, and you were talking about monarchies, and you were talking about if you would be interested in being in a position of power like that.
No.
And then immediately you said yes, and then you go, actually, absolutely not. I don't think that I could handle that. And I immediately just thought about I feel like I often give you are so good at being a leader, and you are so good at handling multiple things at once, but sometimes the threshold that you have, that's just the straw that broke the camel's back, I never know where it's going to come from. And occasionally when it does, and it's oh, okay, it's all okay, it's fine. But I think what I actually will give you a major pat on the back, and I would say certainly even within this year, your ability to bounce back from getting really upset or overwhelmed about something. And I've even heard you say a time or two of kind of talking with yourself and deciding if this is something you really want to get upset about.
Right.
And that's, as somebody who has spent a lot of time with you, I'll say that's pretty phenomenal.
Well, thank you.
You're welcome.
It took me 32 years to get there.
Yep.
All right, guys. Well, we will be back next week for the rest of 2020, by the way, to clarify. We're still doing house rules at 5:30, but starting the first Monday in January, we're going to be switching to 10 a.m., Common Ground. We should have some new graphics and stuff coming out, too. And we'll just say goodbye. We'll just retire they might make an appearance, these little characters that Josh made for us. They are kind of fun.
I think so.
Would you want, would be, I know this would be ridiculous, if we had, human-sized cutouts of these made and put in our yard?
Yeah, that would be absurd. I would like them as bobbleheads.
Or Christmas tree ornaments?
Oh, that would be fun.
Yeah. So we'll see.
Just always with a hand like this?
Yeah.
Have to make sure the hand's here, though, and not here.
Yeah,
That's
right.
That's a totally different ornament.
All right, guys. We'll see you next week.
Bye. Merry Christmas.